Okay, in this video I'd like to give you a little more in-depth view of how CabinetCRUNCHER works. I thought we'd start with just an example. So here's a set of kitchen cabinets that we're going to create a cut list for, and I'm going to show you basically how this works. But a couple things I wanted to point out here is in this example there's this double oven cabinet here that's going to have a couple of doors up on top and a drawer down below. And this is what I call a four vertical. So there's four openings stacked on top of each other. And if you'll notice, that's very similar to this four vertical right next to it that happens to be just a four drawer base cabinet. Both of these cabinets are built with the same template. And I'd like to show you how that works. So in this case, if we were to build this set of kitchen cabinets, do a cut list, we would start now with this four vertical template. And I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work on this oven base for right now. So what I'm going to do here is, in fact, let's go ahead and let's turn the dimensions onto this drawing, and you can see that this is a fairly tall cabinet, 95 1/4 inches tall. It's going to have a couple of 28-inch high open bay openings here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to install my overall height, width, and depth. And the width of this cabinet was 33 inches. The height was 95 1/4 inches, and it's 24 inches deep. Now I've got this set right now as a base cabinet, which doesn't have, base cabinets don't have a top panel, but in this case I want to put a top panel in. So I'm going to just, I think what I'm going to do is I could select either a built-in base cabinet, which will add the top panel, or I can make a freestanding base cabinet out of it, which will also have the top panel. So in either case that'll work. You can pick and choose whichever. I'm going to just call this a freestanding base. Okay, so when I get started here, the easiest way to kind of get started is to go over to my construction preferences, and this template will allow you to establish your kind of your basic build requirements for any of your cabinets that are in your project. So in this case I'm gonna utilize basically pocket hole and biscuit construction, which means that, you know, I'm not going to have really any dados or anything. I'm just going to go with a standard butted panel construction, and I'm going to establish the types of materials I'm going to use. And in this case, I think what I'm going to do, well, I'll leave this as a pedestal base, but we'll adjust that on the cabinet cut list, and I'll show you how that works. But when I'm finished with this template, I can just simply go back now, and I can, here's my four vertical base cabinet that I'm going to work on, and I'm going to import those settings into this template. Now what that did is it copied all those settings from your construction preferences and installed them onto this template. And I've put in my overall height, width, and depth of the cabinet, and I'm going to scroll down now, and I'm going to adjust the size of the cabinet openings. And in this case, the upper cabinet was going to be 16 inches. The upper opening was going to be 16, and then I'm going to have a couple of 28-inch openings for my double ovens, and then the bottom defaults whatever's left over, in this case 10 3/4 inches. So this upper opening now, I'm going to make that into, I want that to be a couple of doors in there, so I'm going to go ahead and put a 2-door installation on the upper, and then on the middle openings I'm going to make those open spaces. And whenever you see a red highlight come up, you got to make an adjustment there. In this case, I'm going to do the same thing, make that an open space. And then the lower space, that's going to be a drawer. Yeah, it's going to be a drawer front, so that's fine. I'm going to leave that alone. And let's see, I'm done with this area. I can come down here now. I'm going to put in I am going to put in a drawer box down on the lower opening. So I'm going to go ahead and put a drawer box, and that is reference number 4. That's the bottom opening. So I'm going to put in reference 4 and the depth. I know what the depth of my cabinet is right here. This is the calculated finished inside depth. It's 23 3/4, but my drawer is only going to be 22 inches, so that'll fit in there. And then I know that my bottom opening is the height of that opening is 10 3/4 inches, so I'm going to max out my size of my drawer box in there. I'm going to put in a 10 inch high drawer box, and there'll be one of those installed. All right, and I think that's just about it as far as the settings go. I could probably put in my construction hardware here. I got a couple of door handles I'm going to put in for the upper opening, and for that lower opening I'm going to install, let's see, some side mount drawer slides. I need a couple of those, and I also need a drawer handle. I need one of those, and I also need some hinges. I need some hinges for the doors. So let's see, I'm going to use in this case I think I'll use a 1/2 inch overlay door hinge, and I need 4 of those. Okay, so now everything's pretty well set for this cabinet, and I can make any final changes that I want to. And I'm just going to go ahead and add that to my project. So I'm going to click this Add Cabinet to Project button. And now I've got my cabinet here. And if I wanted to, I could go look at my list of materials, and my project cut list is getting started. My door list is getting started. My drawer box is getting started. And I've got my hardware list. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at my next cabinet. This happens to be the 4-drawer base cabinet here, so I can go right back to the menu, and I can pick up my 4-drawer base cabinet, and this time it's going to just be a regular base cabinet. The width is going to be, in this case, 24 inches. The height is going to be 34.5, and I can bring in my construction preferences, and I'll scroll down now, and I can, this time I'm going to adjust the overall height here. Let's see, I think I'll put that upper, I can make adjustments to this any way I want to, but I'll go ahead and make the adjustments to my cabinet opening sizes. And again, I'll go in here and I'll say, in this case now I want a drawer front, and I'll put just one of those, and I'll do the same thing for these next openings. These will be just stacked drawers, and that is all finished. Now I can come down, and I've got, in this case I've got 4 different drawer boxes that I'm going to install. So starting at the top one, I've got a 5-inch opening, cabinet opening size, and so the height of that cabinet needs to be something less than that. So I'll make that, I'll just make that 4.5 inches, and then I can come down and kind of populate the other 3 openings. So on reference 2, I'm going to do the same thing. It's the same size, 4.5. And just give me a minute here and I'll be finished with this. And let's see, this one now, this is reference 3. Reference 3, I got a 6-inch opening here, so I can make this just a little bit bigger. And my final lower drawer is reference 4. And this one's a little bit bigger, 7 inches, so I'll make that 6.5. And now I can go ahead, and if I want to, I can make any adjustments to my hardware requirements that I want. In this case, I can clear this list and I can say I just need some drawer slides, and I got 4 drawers, so I need 8. And I need some handles. I got 4 drawers, so there's 4 handles. And I'm pretty much done now with this cut list. And I can go ahead and I can add this cabinet to my project. And I've now got my two cabinets put in here. And in this project list, all my project lists are being updated as I go. So you'll see that you know, my list of materials is going to grow, and so on and so forth. So now if I look at my next cabinet here, this will be a oven base or a stove cooktop base cabinet. So I can go back over here now and say, you know, that this one here is a 2 vertical. So there's 2 openings in this one on top and one on the bottom. So I can go back to my menu screen. I can pick up this 2 vertical, and in this case I've got a 36-inch wide, and again it'll be 34.5 inches tall. And I can come down here and I can import my cut list settings, and I can come down, and in this case I can make my adjustments to my upper opening size, and I've got this set up how I want it, and I put my hardware requirements in. I got a couple of drawer slides, and I got a drawer handle. I got one of those, and I've got let's see, I've got a couple of doors that I'm installing on that cabinet, so I'm going to have 4 hinges, and then I'm finished with this one. And I can go ahead and I can add that to my project. And now I've got my 3 cabinets in there, and I can continue on with that with all the rest of these cabinets if I wanted to, but you get an idea how quick this is to work with. So now that I've got my cabinets in here, I have a very good idea. First of all, I've created the cut listing for all those cabinets, but I do also know, you know, that I've got a list of materials, and I know that how much my materials are going to cost, and my hardware, and everything else that I want to install in this cabinet. Now, I have some labor rates, so those that are, you know, in the business of building cabinets for a living, you can make your you can put in your labor rates, and let's just say that my regular shop labor is going to be let's just say it's going to be $100 an hour, and let's just say that my doors, you know, you can price these out either individually or by the square foot, and you know, these are budget estimates, so I'm going to use a budget estimate, and I'm going to say that my doors cost, I can build doors for, let's just say, $40 a square foot. Okay, so now I know I know I can do the same for the drawer fronts and boxes and whatever else. And if I do make any changes to my cutting list after I've added them to the project, I want to make sure I update the project costs. So that'll bring in, you know, in this case it'll bring in my labor here for that I wanted for those drawers, and if I'd made any changes to my cutting list after I put them on the project, I want to make sure that I pull in the updates from whatever changes I made. So now when I'm finished, I've got a very nice uh, compiled list of materials, and I've got a cutting list now that has got, in this case, just my 3 cabinets. But what's nice about this cut list here is that I can use these filtering and sorting arrows to build different views of this cut list. So for example, let's just say I was going to build I need a cut list just showing my face frame styles and rails, and I can organize this any way I want to, but I think what I'll do is I'll organize this in in descending order of length. So I've got all my 3/4 inch maple, inch and a half styles and rails, and they're all organized by descending order of length. I can print this out just like this now and go to the shop, and I've got a real nice list of all those face frame parts that I need. I can do the same thing if I wanted to with let's just say I wanted to just show all my maple ply panels. I could come in here and say, I just want a cutting list right now of just my 3/4 inchers, 3/4 inch thick maple plies. And in this time I can just organize it from maybe the widest down to the narrowest. That's how I like to do it, so that when I go to the shop I can just start at the top and start cutting all my panels. And if I have anything left over on the edge, anything that's any kind of scrap, I can usually fill in some of that scrap with some of these cleats and nailers and this and that. So when I'm done, I have very little waste usually. But if I go back now and I look at say my list of doors, I've got a list of doors and drawer fronts that are compiled for all my cabinets. Some people like to build their own, some people like to outsource them. If you outsource them, all you need to do is send them this list, and it's got the finished sizes and quantities of all your doors and drawer fronts. I can do the same thing with my drawer boxes, and I've got my hardware list all compiled as well. So in a very quick order, if I were to finish off now, and I did 3 cabinets, but I've got another half a dozen or so cabinets left to do, you can see that it doesn't take very long. Inside of about an hour, I could have a very detailed cut list and list of materials for this entire project. And it's pretty tough to beat in terms of getting organized here for a project of this size. And you'll find that that once you get used to the program, you'll find that it's got tremendous amount of flexibility. I can make a lot of changes to how I build this cabinet. Right, I've been using in this project just butted panels because I'm using pocket holes and biscuit construction. But if I wanted to make adjustments to some other different type of construction need, I can come over here and look at this matrix here, and I can say, all right, maybe what I like is I want all my cabinets to be installed on a ladder base, and maybe I like a kind of a butted or a dadoed back panel, let's just say. So I can go over here and take a look at that and say, yeah, this is how I want it, and I can install, if I wanted to, I can take a look to just make sure that that's what I want. I can open up that 3D model here and take a look at it, and I can take a look closer to see just exactly how that particular option, how you would build that particular option. If it's something that I like, I can import those settings into my my preferences sheet here, and I can again just go back and I can pick any one of my cabinets that I'm going to use on my project, and I can just simply import those settings in, and it takes a lot of workload off. It just takes a few minutes for you to finish up after you're at that point, because a lot of these settings are already adjusted based off your construction preferences. So you really need to focus on, the overall width, height, and depth of the cabinet, and how you want to adjust your cabinet openings and what those openings are going to be used for, and install any kind of hardware, items that you want. But when you're all finished, you can come over and you can print all these cut lists off, or you can just simply work off of the project cut list, whatever you want. But if you do print these off, this is very easy to do. You can just come in here and just make your changes and print it, and you're good to go. So I hope this gives you a little better idea of how the program works, and if you have any questions at all, feel free and give me a call. We've got a lot of all these cut lists have different types of there's a tremendous amount of SketchUp modeling that's available, and they're linked in here to into my into the program, so I can take a look at a number of different options here for using SketchUp. But you don't need to use SketchUp. I do in this case, but it really doesn't matter which graphic program you're using. If you've got something that you like that you currently use, that's fine. Just continue to use it, because there's no interface between the cut list and the 3D model. So really the model's really only really here designed for graphical, for visual purposes. But you'll notice too that another point I was going to make about this is that a lot of programs, they don't give you the ability to really build your cabinets like a custom cabinet maker would make. And if you notice in this example, I've got two cabinets here side by side. One's a 4-drawer, 4 vertical. It's just a 4-drawer base cabinet, and then this oven base. But see how this model is set up right now with two cabinets as they're built separately. But what I can do here is I can as a custom cabinet maker, I can combine these two cabinets together into a single cabinet. And the way I would do that, I would look for one with a configuration with 4 drawers on the left side and 2 on the right. So I can come in here and I can look for what would be a 4L2R, and there I've got my 4L2R. So I can make all those changes that I want. I can update my project in such a way that I'm now building just a single base unit that's got both of these cabinets combined into a single unit. So that's a great way to build cabinets, and you have, again, a lot of flexibility with the program to build your cabinets really how a custom cabinet maker would make them. It's very quick and easy, and if you have any questions at all, my email and phone numbers on the website. Feel free and give me a call, and I'd be happy to work with you and help you out as any way I can.